What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be comparing the Replica Trd Pro Grill for the 4Runner against the OEM Trd Pro Grill from Toyota. This is the first video filmed on the new GoPro, so bear with me as there's no volume and a couple other weird things that happen. But right now, as you can see, we're comparing the plastic to the plastic main garnish on the OEM Valence. The one on, that's my buddy's truck, his name is Tom. I'll have his Instagram linked in the description below. You can see his build and I'll put mine as well. But right now you can see the Replica garnish has the divots right here for the letters that you put on. And if you look closely, I don't know if you can tell or if it shows very well in the video, but you can sort of see the plastic is a slightly different material. Right here you can see the red adhesive tape that covers the adhesive that you use to put the grill on. And my buddy told me this is a little different from the OEM tape, so that's just a slight difference there. But looking at the quality of the plastic itself, it's pretty decent. And there's one thing that I would highly recommend everyone do with this grill, because if you've seen on Instagram, this grill will fade. When I say this grill, I mean the Replica. So what we're going to do is go ahead and scuff it up slightly, all evenly and across the entire grill. You're going to want to coat this thing with at least a few coats of black paint, trim paint. In this case, we're using SEM black trim paint. Anything really to protect that plastic so it won't fade, because the last thing you want to do is put those letters on the grill and then have to take the letters off once it fades. Put it all back together, it'll just be a mess. So go ahead, use this SEM trim black paint. My buddy Tom recommended it. It's pretty great so far. It's held up for quite some time. He uses it on all of his plastic pieces as well in the past, and certain bits on the 4Runner as well. So we're just going to do some nice even coats on the valence, or on the garnish. Take your time on this. Painting is not something you want to rush. Scuff it up, wipe it nicely, and get a nice coat on there. The more coats you do, obviously, the better. Right now, what we've done is taken the top portion of the grill apart, the upper grill. You're going to pop that top grill section out with the Toyota emblem and replace it with the solid mesh part that you can see on Tom's vehicle. Right here we're taking a look at the letters from the Replica grill next to the OEM ones. They're really, really close. I mean, when you have them side by side like this, you can notice very slight differences. Like the Replica is a slightly darker shade of gray. The shape is virtually identical, but there are, if you're looking very, very closely, slight differences. And personally, it's up to you to determine whether you want to pay OEM money for the grill from Toyota, or if you just want to save a bunch and use the Replica grill. Personally, as I'm sure you can imagine, I felt it was more worth it to go with a Replica grill after you paint it. And we'll see at the end of the video how it looks, and you can determine for yourself. Right now, we're testing alignment of the garnish to see where we want to lay it down at, because you want an even gap on both sides. Now, there's a bit of a discrepancy, between whether people say there needs to be a gap, whether the Replica grills have a really significant gap. Actually, the OEM garnish from Toyota has a slight gap on both edges, and that's so that it can actually flex a little bit and not really rub on the bumper itself. I think there's another aftermarket option out there that doesn't include this gap, and people, might wonder what the differences are. So there you go. But there's a certain way to do this, and this isn't necessarily a Trd Pro Grill install video. There's tons of those out there already, so this is more so comparing the two grills. But you want to go ahead and peel off most of the tape and leave a tab, so that when you have it positioned where you like it, you can just pull those tape tabs and it'll leave your grill exactly where you wanted it to. You can apply pressure and it will stay nice and solid on your vehicle. Really make sure you put pressure on all of that adhesive. You don't want any of it coming up later, so now's the time to really put in the effort and make it nice and tight on the bumper. I think we're struggling to get a little bit of tape right there, or maybe just pushing the garnish up so it's nice and tight. So here we are installing the upper grill for the Trd Pro kit onto the grill itself. So we're going to screw that together, and that's going to be your upper portion. The Replica Trd Pro Grill kit did come with that that upper mesh, so you get the whole kit ready to go. So you have the garnish, the grill, and the letters. So this kit, most people just get it from Amazon or eBay. It all likely comes from the same factory. So as long as you're treating it, you know, like it's not perfect, you don't want to necessarily treat this like it's a perfect Trd Pro Grill. That's why it is so cheap. You know, it's coming from a Chinese factory that's either using similar molds, even maybe the same molds, but with cheaper plastics. So treat it like it's not perfect. Maybe if you need to, scuff it up, paint it like I did. That way you can get it as close to OEM as possible, and you know that it, you know, because it's so much cheaper, you're not expecting a perfect result right away. I mean, for the money, I'd say you're a little crazy to expect that, because the Trd Pro one from Toyota is a lot more expensive. So yes, it's perfect from Toyota if you get it from Toyota, but you do spend that premium to get that quality. And if you're crazy OCD, you don't want to worry about putting on the letters yourself, maybe that's actually worth it to you. I think for the vast majority, it'll be worth it to actually do all of this yourself, because you actually end up saving several $100s if you go with the Replica grill. So right here, we're just putting the tabs on, making sure everything lines up, putting the grill upper back into place. As you can see, we are probably 90% of the way there. Close the hood and you can see the front end. This is actually with just the bar, not the letters. I've actually seen a lot of guys on Instagram actually running this look, and of course they don't have the bar that has those divots in it for the letters. You can actually purchase aftermarket grills that have no holes if you just want that clean bar look. Right here, we're taking a look at those letters again. We're gonna go ahead and take off the adhesive on the back of them. And this is a really important step. This is probably the most difficult part of the process of installing this grill. You need to be very careful if you want to make sure that these letters are lined up correctly. You don't want to rush and have it look, you know, messy, sloppy. You'd rather take your time now, because this is going to be how your vehicle looks moving forward. So my advice is lay down some painter's tape, take your time. Don't even push too hard on these letters. Just make sure the prongs pop into those little holes on the grill, and just very, very gently have them sit on top of the bar. You don't want to fully press them into place yet until you have all of the letters lined up. Make sure they're perfectly tweaked. As you can see, the Y isn't necessarily perfectly straight yet, and that's okay. We just want them on the grill, and then we can adjust them from there because they're just so lightly sitting on the garnish. Use this time to kind of step back, get an idea of how you want the letters to look, make sure they are level, go back in and you can fine tune it, turn them, twist them once you're really happy with where the letters are placed. And like I said, this will take, you shouldn't rush this process. Really take your time here, because this is where it will really show that you have, you know, a replica grill over a Trd Pro one from Toyota if you really rush this process and the letters look sloppy. So take your time, tweak them, make sure you're happy with it. If you're OCD like I am, I probably spent maybe 25-30 minutes with Tom just to get these letters straight. So it's up to you how you want to do this. Another advantage with the replica grills is because the letters are separate, you can actually paint those or, you know, color change them if you want to. And once you're happy with the layout of the letters, just go ahead and take that tape off nice and carefully. You know, we did just freshly paint that garnish, so you don't want to damage that. And there you have it. This is the Replica Trd Pro Grill. You save roughly, depending on the kit, I think the kit has gone down even more since I purchased it. I purchased the kit for about $170, but I think I've seen them for even $150 now. So you're saving several $100s by purchasing this kit. So if you take your time, you know, finish it properly so the grill doesn't fade. That's the big problem that these grills have. And secondly, take your time with the installing the letters right here. We're tweaking the letters again just because, you know, my OCD is kicking in. So just making sure those are perfectly lined up. And yeah, take your time. And I think this grill is more than worth it. If you have the money to spend and you just want something perfect and you can go to the store and pick it up, definitely, by all means, go that route. But if you're more on a budget, if you're more cost sensitive and you want to, you know, maybe save a couple $100 to put into other mods, this is a great grill option. I was joking with Tom here. I said, you know, putting the Trd Pro Grill on your 4Runner is sort of like graduating 4Runner college for 5th gen owners. But yeah, here we are with the finished result, and I have to say it's really difficult to tell. We'll put it side by side with Tom's OEM grill here in a second so you can compare the two yourselves. So on the left, this is my 4Runner. We both have, well, he has an off-road and I have a trail edition. Same equipment, just a different name. This is Tom's on the right. That's what a factory OEM Trd Pro Grill looks like. And on the left, that's the replica. If you really take your time, like I said, it's going to be really difficult to tell differences unless you're really, really up close. But at that point, I think you have proven that the grill itself is actually worth it if it takes that much detail to try to determine that, you know, which one is factory and which one isn't. So yeah, I think I would definitely purchase this grill again. If I had the money, maybe, yeah, I would go for the OEM one. Right here, I'm just appreciating Tom's stance on those Stealth Custom Series wheels. Very nice. But yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend. If you want to save a few $100s and you're willing to, you know, take your time and install it, this is definitely a kit worth your time.